So guys, it's David here and it is currently day 406. I hope you guys are doing well though, and like always, are doing better than yesterday. Now, if you recognize this room for some of you, then you may realize that I am finally back home. Finally back home away from the humid and hot weather, and I'm back in this office ready to do some deep work. Now, today, as I was coming back from the airport and I entered my parents' house, which is where I stay, this thought, this old urge of acting like my old lazy self, to grab the remote, to sit on the sofa, to binge eat food, all this thought, this old habit started to spark interest in my mind, and I almost gave in to such distraction. And the only thing that allowed me to steer away from my old complacent routine was my new understanding that a thought is only a thought, and it will be made significant if you choose to devote more energy towards it than it already deserves. What does this mean, guys? We don't have to act on our thoughts. And our mind, in the moment, can only process one thought and one dominant emotion. Let me give you an example. Think about something that has been a trouble of yours lately. Think about a distraction. Think about an urge. Think about a temptation. Now, have that clear. Focus on that urge. Now, think about something different. Think about something that makes you happy. Think about something or someone you love or care about, and perhaps think about something you were just doing before. Now, you may or may not realize that as I told you to do so, you couldn't simultaneously think about your distractions. And yes, you may argue that, well, I can now because you mentioned it, but in the moment, you cannot process two thoughts and emotions at the same time. And rather, the dominant emotion, the strongest emotion, will triumph and impinge your conscious mind. So, although this slight change of thought may be a split second, maybe even a smaller than a second, but it is that we can only process one thought. So this means if you want to stay focused or perhaps stay away from your distraction, it does not mean that you cannot stop thinking about such distractions, but rather you have to learn the skill to pull yourself back into the present, or to think about something more, think about something positive, and think about something you want to act on that you know will benefit you. This will take skill to learn, but this is a very simple skill to learn. All you have to do is understand in the moment of your distracting thought, start to realize that thought, but not be frustrated of the fact that you are thinking about it. Just be understanding and be amazed of how our mind works. Be interested that you are thinking of that negative thought. But also in that moment where your mind is distracted in the past, in your past behavior, pull yourself away from it. Pull yourself back into the present. Pull yourself back to what you want to do, or perhaps what you were already doing. Now, by doing so, in the beginning, you will feel awkward. It will feel kind of weird, and you may be frustrated still by your thinking of your past. But please understand that over time, this frustration and this awkward feeling in the beginning will start to ease out. Eventually, instead of spending a considerable amount of time, perhaps 5 minutes, just trying to pull yourself back into the present, you will slowly diminish that time to regather your thoughts, perhaps down to a second, perhaps down to a split second. And most importantly, as your time diminishes, you start to realize the amount of energy, the amount of emotional energy you give towards your thinking of your past and rethinking of your present slows down too. You don't become as frustrated as more. You start to appreciate your ability, this new learned skill of regathering your thoughts, to just understand that a thought is merely a thought. That no matter what we do, we cannot stop thinking. No matter what we do, we cannot stop doubting in ourselves. We cannot be afraid. We cannot stop our fears. That is a part of us. But like everything, like all our emotions and energy, those are something we make up, and we distribute those emotions to certain experiences that we see fit. So understand that we have control, and sometimes our frustration is the cause of the lack of understanding that we feel like we have lost control. But fear not, guys, because we always have this control. We always are in the driver's seat of our life. So learn this skill. Think that a thought is merely a thought. When your mind is distracted, think about something you were doing or think about something you want to be doing. Over time, it will ease out. Over time, your frustration will wear down. And today, for me, guys, for me to pull myself back from my old thinking was very pleasantful. Why? Because I didn't feel the negative pull of my old habitual habits, but rather there was a more exciting energy waiting ahead of me when I thought about something new, when I thought about what I should be doing, when I thought about what I want to be doing. Because by doing the same exact thing that you always have been doing, and if those behaviors led you to nowhere in life, then you start to understand that if I continue on with my old routes and my old ways of living, then maybe I won't get anywhere in life. Then maybe I won't really achieve the greatness I so believe myself to achieve. So it is a very valuable skill to learn, guys. A thought is a thought, and it only becomes significant and powerful enough to overcome our own ability to win life, is if we choose to give it more importance than it already deserves.